Welcome to Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy, where we seek to educate, motivate, and inspire professionals into starting their own healthcare businesses. Learn from leading healthcare entrepreneurs and other business experts as they share their journey and provide a glimpse into their playbooks for success. Loaded with valuable insights and actionable strategies, this show will guide you on your path to freedom. Now, please welcome your host, entrepreneur and healthcare practitioner, Jason Duprat.
What is up, everybody? This is Jason here, and welcome to the first official solo episode of the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy podcast. So I've decided to call these episodes Tactical Tuesdays, and on the episodes, my goal is just to connect with you more. I want to share some of my own entrepreneurial journey and sort of bring you along with me as I discuss what's working in my business. So my goal will be to help you get the information that you need to help you improve your businesses. So on these episodes, I'll be sharing with you tactics and strategies that I've been implementing myself, and I will provide some valuable reviews of resources that have been really instrumental in helping me improve the success of my own businesses. So it'll be things like books, podcasts, courses, conferences. Really, I'm going to be bringing to you anything that's worked for me that I think could have a really big impact for you. So hopefully you enjoy these solo episodes. They are aimed at getting straight to the meat and potatoes of what can help your business thrive. And these episodes are going to be pretty short and to the point, typically 5 to 10 minutes per episode. And real quick, I just wanted to put out a reminder that I absolutely love interacting with listeners. I love getting feedback. So I really encourage you to connect with me. You can find me on Instagram at Jason A. Duprat. I'm pretty easy to find on Facebook. You can just search Jason, the letter A, Duprat. Or one of the best ways to get a hold of me is in the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy Facebook group. To get access to that group, all you have to do is go to jasonduprat.com/group, and then just click the button right there on that page. Request to join the group. We'll approve you. And that's one of the best places to connect. That's where we do all the live guest interviews. And that's a great place to connect with other like-minded healthcare entrepreneurs or individuals who are aspiring to be healthcare entrepreneurs. So to start off this first solo episode, I just want to give you some more insight into my own experiences in business and entrepreneurship. And I'll be sharing the exact lessons that I've learned along the way so that you can learn to avoid some of my mistakes and sort of replicate any successes that I've had. I am a huge believer that if you want to shortcut your path to success or to a goal, that you need to learn from those who are several steps ahead of you. So that way you can learn what's working and learn what to do and what not to do. So let's jump into my first real entrepreneurial experience, and I call this the hot dog cart hiccup. So this was back in 2008 when I was actually a starving nursing school student. I had actually moved from Florida in 2007 to attend nursing school at the University of Central Florida, and my mom and stepdad were actually kind enough to let me move back in with them while I was applying for and then completing an accelerated second bachelor's degree in nursing. No, I wasn't really starving, but I was definitely extremely broke. I had, at that point, somewhere a little over $40,000 in student loans for my first business degree. And that, unfortunately, was a degree that I graduated with, but could not find a good paying job as an entry-level manager. So after a few years of working as a manager in the restaurant business, I decided to go back to nursing school. But I knew my only chance of being able to actually afford paying for another degree in nursing was to keep my expenses as low as absolutely possible. And so I did that by living with my mom and my stepdad in East Orlando, which was actually a trailer park community. So I didn't have 5-star accommodations, but I did have a roof over my head. I had a comfortable bed. I had great food. My mom's an awesome cook. And I had my family to help keep me motivated and keep me on track. And I am eternally grateful to my parents for letting me live there, because at that point in my life, I was 25, 26 years old, and it was really humbling for me to have to go back and move with my family. It was terrifying to actually leave all my friends and family who lived in Western New York, which is where I had grown up and spent the previous 20-something years of my life, and then move to a new city where I only had a couple $100s to my name. I had no job lined up. I only had the dream of being able to get a meaningful degree that actually would allow me to get a job that paid enough so that I could actually pay my student loans back and have my own place to live. At that point, that was actually the only thing that I was aspiring to be. And to do because I didn't know how much opportunity was actually out there. I had never been exposed to or met any highly successful individuals or entrepreneurs or anybody who was just excelling at life. It wasn't until my time in Orlando that I actually began to see the opportunities that existed, because growing up in a small town that had 2 traffic lights, so financial abundance was just sort of non-existent in that tiny town that I grew up in. But after moving to Orlando, I began to see the massive amount of opportunities that existed out there in what I would call the real world. I didn't know it at the time, but actually getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of that little town and moving to Florida was a life-changing moment for me. Not only did I see that there was a great deal of abundance outside my small town, which I'm not knocking small towns in any way. I actually had a really good upbringing, a really good experience growing up in a small town, but sometimes you just don't get the exposure to what opportunities are out there if you just isolate yourself into a little tiny village. So once I got to Orlando, not only did I see that there was a great deal of abundance outside my small town, but I was forced to meet new people, and I slowly began to change my inner circle of friends by spending more time with smart individuals, really high motivated individuals, driven individuals. And it's commonly said that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And although I didn't realize it then, I now believe that to be an undeniable truth. I have experienced firsthand what it means to surround yourself with individuals who are just high achievers. So back to the hot dog cart story. It was at the end of my nursing program when I came across a book that described how a man in Chicago was able to create a really lucrative hot dog cart business by owning multiple hot dog carts, some of which he claimed were earning profits of over $100,000 a year each. So after reading this book and doing a little research, I thought this was like the perfect opportunity to make some side money to help support me through school, help me pay back those student loans when I was done. I had previously spent nearly 10 years in the restaurant business, so it seemed like a really good fit for me. So I jumped on Craigslist. I started researching for hot dog carts, ultimately ended up purchasing my very own hot dog cart for about $2,000, and I was like super excited. But the excitement actually quickly faded away after operating the hot dog cart for several weeks. It actually turned out that in Orange County, Florida, it is illegal to place your food service cart on any public property or sidewalks, and so I ended up being forced to pay business owners to set up on their own private property out front of their business, and most actually charged so much for me to do that by the end of the day, 80 to 90% of what would have been the profits ended up going in their pockets instead. So it turned out to be a really bad business model for the market that I was in. So what's the tactical takeaway here? The tactical takeaway is to never make an important decision based off of emotion alone, which is what I did. I got excited and I didn't do my research, because making decisions when you are emotional clouds your judgment, and ultimately it costs you a lot of money in the business arena or if you're investing. So do your homework, do your proper due diligence before making any important decisions, because failure to do so is likely going to result in failure of the project. Well, that brings us to an end of this first Tactical Tuesday episode. So thank you for tuning in. If you received any value at all from this podcast, I ask that you please remember to leave a rating, a written review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes, because that goes a really long way to helping iTunes display that as a podcast worth listening to and helping us to get the show out there. So thank you for doing that, and we will catch you guys on the flip side.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy. Want to connect with more like-minded healthcare entrepreneurs and professionals? Just head over to jasonduprat.com/group to join our Facebook family for real-time interactions, insight, and resources to get you one step closer to realizing your goal. We look forward to interacting with you, but until then, we'll catch you on the next episode of the Healthcare Entrepreneur Academy.